not permits to have outdoor music. We respectfully request that our application be placed on the next council agenda. If you have any questions regarding the expansion of premises, you can reach us by phone, email, write us a letter, or stop by the brewery during our open hours. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to general business. We move in first, accounts payable. A motion.
I move that we pay accounts payable subject to availability of funds in the amount of $215,922.49.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for to pay accounts payable. Questions? Yeah.
On page 9, under merchandise, we have a couple of payments of $4,000 for the Tucson Mineral Show, September. So there's a request, and apparently the fund has been dispersed on 8/8. Just would like to know what this is for.
Thank you and good evening. Could you indulge me and ask me that question again after adjournment, please?
I'm sorry?
Can you
okay.
indulge me and wait till after the meeting? It's a matter of security.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
Thank you.
And anyone else? Oh, go ahead.
On page 5, there's a huge jump in the water bill in West Vista and Hudson, $1,083.
Take that one back?
Yeah. It is a big one. Big one, huh?
That's the usual item.
That's okay.
Sorry, something good there.
That's 3/4 of the way down on page 5.
Yeah, he's looking at a different fund.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't see it right now. This is not working.
Here, Matt.
Thank you.
Just take that, that's fine.
Okay. So, sorry about that.
Yeah, it's the West Vista Hudson Highway.
Oh, okay. And this was for the month of July, or is this for the month of July? End of July, okay. We're using the water truck plus, using sprinklers a lot. And this also includes our 4th of July event, I believe, that we had at the park, where we had water flags and everything. So that is part of it.
What is the dates of bill?
Invoice date says 7/20. And date paid was the 8th of this month. Doesn't say exactly when it was.
Does it say when the billing does?
No, not on here.
We meet, the meter read does it?
Yeah. I can see when we can look further into it
Please do.
tomorrow and send you an email.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else? All right, we have a motion and a second to approve accounts payable subject to availability of funds in the amount of $215,922.49. Roll call.
Councilmember Giacomino?
Aye.
Councilmember Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Johns?
Aye.
Councilmember Sweet?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Klein?
Aye.
Mayor Budge?
Aye, motion passes 6-0. Moving on to approval of the consent agenda. We have items A through G. We have 1 minute to approve from August 2nd. We have a park and facility permit for Bisbee Coalition for the Homeless for the festival. We have 2 permits for the Bisbee High School for their parade and back to school events, homecoming. And looks like 3 different liquor licenses, one for Bisbee Pride, one for Copper Queen Hospital Foundation, and one for Easter Seals for the Blues Festival. Does anyone have anything to pull? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda, items A through G.
Second?
A motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as agenda-sized items A through G. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Chair determines the ayes have it, so moved. We have no old business, we move on to new business. First item will be item number 3. This is discussion and possible approval of a Visit Arizona Initiative Marketing Grant Agreement between the State of Arizona, AOT, and the City of Bisbee, and the acceptance of the award. City Manager.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. This was a grant application that we sent in back at the beginning of the year. It's a special AOT grant funded basically by the governor's office for additional large-scale projects in every city in Arizona have the opportunity to apply. Don't know how many did. I just know that we were awarded $49,000, which was about what we applied for, to essentially do freeway digital billboards in the valley. So this was, I guess you could say this was Jen Luria's last project as a consultant for the city, and she successfully was able to get this, and then Heather, of course, will take over getting everything put up from here. So anyway, good news, a $49,000 grant.
Any questions or comments? There is a 10% match, but that's a 10% match is a good match. As far as it goes.
Yeah, we had already put that on the ARPA list, so it's going to be
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval item 3.
I move to approve the Visit Arizona Initiative Marketing Grant Agreement between the State of Arizona, AOT, and the City of Bisbee, and accept the award.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for item 3 to approve the grant. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Chair says the ayes have it. So moved. Moving on to item 4, this will be discussion and possible approval of refinement and update of the job description for early literacy coordinator for the library department. Jarrell.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have recently had a vacancy in the early literacy coordinator position, and the library manager, Jason Makoviak, asked that we take a look, refine some of the details of this job description, and in the interim while it's not filled. So we worked together on that. This position started in 2018, and it stemmed from a grant from Freeport-McMoRan to put in a part-time position for an early literacy outreach specialist. And the position, along with the advances with the library annex, have been wonderful for the San Jose community, and many citizens and parents and children really are taking advantage of that annex location and all the special programs that they do, from reading to art. I mean, it's really amazing. Again, so the position's currently vacant, and we just wanted to refine the scope. In addition to the duties that the early literacy outreach specialist, changing to coordinator, does, they also handle library book processing, because that library annex does function as a library location for people to check out and return books. So that really was the one change. I think that was the most of it, which is just identifying and addressing the library duties, which are taken directly from the library assistant job description. So these changes that are here in red, none of these are new duties, new jobs, or anything of the sort. This is just combining This position with some of the library assistant duties, because it just really does help. That department, the library is 2 full-time employees and 3 part-time employees. So there are definitely times when they have to pick up and work at the Old Bisbee location or vice versa. And so, like I said, it was just an opportunity to really refine this so that we're giving the best description of this job when we go out for recruiting.
Okay, thank you, Personnel Director. Questions, comments? Go ahead, Anna, first.
When do you anticipate recruiting for this position?
Upon approval of this job description, we will post it for the required time period.
Okay, and this is already in the budget, and we're good on all of that?
Yes, this position is now added to the budget. It's been filled pretty regularly since 2018 when it started. And again, we have a vacancy right now, and Jason kind of jumped on the opportunity to refine this, because at the time in 2018, this was created for this grant and for this purpose. So having the last 3 to 4 years to see how it's working, what has been improved, changed, whatnot, it just gave him the opportunity to really kind of pinpoint and refine that job description.
And it will stay part-time?
Yes.
And I asked that question.
I have, that's an addition. You said this was paid for by a grant. How long is the grant? Or how much is, for how long will it be provided and paying for this?
The grant was in 2018, and due to the success of the program, the position has now been added to the library budget. So I do not have the date on when that Freeport grant ended, but I do know that it has now been added as a permanent position in the library budget, and I believe has been for at least 1, if not 2 years.
So it's no longer supported by a grant?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Just one comment. At the end of page 3, it says approved by Mayor and Council March 2022. Probably strike that.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, we can move that up to maybe October, or I mean August.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll actually make the motion here I move to approve the refinement updates of job description for the early literacy coordinator for the library department.
I'll second it.
I have a motion to second to approve item number 4 as listed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Hearing none. The ayes have it, so moved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to item 5. This is discussion and possible approval of notice of intent to adopt ordinance O-23-10, amending the City Code Article 6, adopting a new section 2.1.5, dogs at large prohibited, for the purpose of regulating at large dogs within the city. City Attorney Justice.
Mayor and Council, this is an amendment to the Animal Control Code to essentially put in place a leash law to require people to have their dogs on a leash, under control. Took a looked at multiple other jurisdictions and taking what they had and trying to consolidate it and make it to something that would work for the city of Bisbee. This is something that the animal control officer has asked us to implement to allow him to better perform his duties and keep things under control.
All right. Questions, comments?
Well, I think it's a good idea, for sure.
Yeah, we never had one, and so
I think it's a good idea.
it's, I actually asked Joe to draft this up and get it before us, and I think it's exactly what we need, just not a lot of complicated changes to our animal control, just get a leash law basically.
And that becomes enforceable once this
Yeah, a little bit.
This is the introduction, then we'll have the adoption, and then 30 days later, it becomes.
Yeah, this is our intent, then will be old business, and then 30 days after that, it comes on.
Okay.
And then you can stop asking that question, who let the dogs?
I think he's been waiting for that joke all day. Thank you.
I've written in my notes.
I know, I read your mind.
As long as you didn't sing it, we're okay.
I guess next time.
I know, he couldn't wait.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, this went down, guys. I hate these shares. All right. See, let the dogs out. All right. I'll entertain a motion for item 5, and there's no more comments or questions.
I move to approve the notice of intent to adopt ordinance O-22-10, amending the city code article 6, adopting a new section 2.15, dogs at large prohibited for the purpose of regulating at-large dogs within the city. Second.
We have a motion and a second for item 5 as listed to approve ordinance this is a notice of intent to approve ordinance O-22-10. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it, so moved. Then, item number 6, this will be a discussion and possible approval of resolution R-22-14. This is declaring and adopting the results of the primary election was held on August 2nd, 2022, and ordering the recordation of the resolution. I guess where we all got put back here.
Except for Frank.
Anything you want to say?
Yeah, Frank's the only one,
It's,
so welcome back.
Does anybody see anything that's not kosher to their liking of the? If not, you'll have to take it up with the county.
I'm on the rebound, I'm just kidding.
Sorry. Any other comments or questions? I'll entertain a motion for item 6.
I move to approve resolution R-22-14, declaring and adopting the results of the primary election held on August 2nd, 2022, and ordering the recordation of the resolution.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution R-22-14, adopting the results of the primary election. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it, so moved. And the last item will be item 7, which is the city manager's report.
I regret to inform you that we're not going to beat last record. There's too much on here. I'm sorry.
It's okay, because
We're
we
gonna
can't
go-
do that every week.
We're going to go until 7:35. Yeah, I know.
That's not our goal. Our goal is to,
Do public's business and go home.
yeah.
Okay, if there's no objection, I want to yield 2 minutes of my time to the city attorney to give us a brief synopsis of what needs to be done at Electric Brewing.
Sure.
2 minutes. Here I am.
So, just to give the council some information on the process, the process for a permanent extension is a little different than seeking for a temporary extension of premises, because they're asking for a permanent structural change to the premises. And the process is 2 parts. It involves, one, the city approving the actual extension, because you have to verify that the extension is going to meet city codes and city requirements, and then also getting the approval from the liquor department, which essentially is just acknowledging the area where liquor is going to be sold. That just has to be, that's more of a technicality for them. They just need to know the map, the area location of where the liquor is going to be sold within that. Normally, most jurisdictions in the valley, they have a very detailed process for extension of premises permit applications that go through the planning department for review to look at the, because you submit specific plans just like you would if you're coming in to pull a permit, because you're asking for the installation of permanent structures, essentially, like fencing or rails or different things like that. So those have to be reviewed for, you know, what materials are going in, how they're being installed, ingress and egress, making sure that there's no ingress or egress that's blocked. How does that, you know, extension affect the, you know, fire department's obstruction, their access into the facility itself? We have to verify that they actually have ownership of the area that's going to be improved, and then also ensuring that ADA issues are accounted for and it doesn't obstruct any ADA access or parking and stuff like that. So it's a more detailed process, not just a simple, here's my application, you know, stamp it, received, and submit it. And we're also going through the process of hiring a new planner, and that's typically the individual that would review these applications and go through those with the permittees and stuff. So we're working through those processes.
Okay. Yeah, I think if the DRB says you have to have a complete plan, then you should have the same thing on that.
So, just one sentence more on that. Nina Williams will be in touch with you pretty soon, probably later this week. Okay, I got several items tonight. First item, just an update. We are doing planner interviews tomorrow, which doesn't mean we're going to have a planner tomorrow. It just means we're doing interviews tomorrow. So hopefully we'll be able to identify someone fairly quickly. The animal control officer, who I think you've all met, Dave, as of this week, his status has been changed from 3 days a week to full-time. So that was anticipated when we adopted the budget. We just didn't know exactly when we were going to do it. But it seems like now is the right time. So after several years without, we finally have a full-time animal control officer again. And I must say, I'm getting compliments from a lot of people around town about the work he's doing. So I think this was a good interval for him to get his feet wet and get acquainted with the community, and I think it's going to work out pretty well for us. Let's see. One more personnel notice. We have hired a police chief. Why are you so surprised? You knew we were going to do it. The position will now be occupied by former Sergeant Tim Cox, who's in the room tonight.
Hi.
And so congratulations, Tim. I didn't look to see what day was effective. As far as I'm concerned, we can start calling him Chief anytime. Oh, I guess you have to give up the chief's office, Joe.
I'm comfortable in what I got.
Okay, let's see, what else have I got here? I was notified today that we have been awarded the grant for the solar system on the new City Hall when built. I was thinking we'd be building the City Hall before we got awarded the grant, but it just went a little bit topsy-turvy. I'm going to be getting more information. I just got this information this afternoon. And basically it's going to be in two chunks. They're going to have one chunk that they send us in the current federal fiscal year, and then the other chunk, which is going to be half and half, will be sent after the fiscal year begins for them, which I believe is October 1st, federal fiscal. So this will be later on this year. I can assure you that we won't get ahead of construction on that. Okay, so. And then the second thing, with regard to City Hall, after a couple of meetings and some doing some thinking about how to proceed next, the staff is going to go ahead with Mr. Hopper and put together a bid spec to put on the street for earthwork and the remainder of the demolition that needs to be done on the old structure. So. Which is a minimal amount. That is the demo. as a matter of month. We thought that we could go out for bids for the earthwork to get a finished elevation surface ready to go. It's about a 2-month process and would put us in a better position to move a little bit later this year when I anticipate that we'll go out with building plans again. Plus, we anticipate that there's a couple of contractors who would have ordinarily been subs on a major project on the whole building that we're going to be going to directly, and we'll be able to see if we can't get more competitive bidding, dealing directly with the contractors that would have been subs on a bigger project. And there's at least a couple of subs, or excuse me, a couple of contractors right here in the Sierra Vista area that would not have bid the complete project because that's not what they do, but would bid on this project. So those bid specs, well, they're really prepared. We just have to separate them from the rest of the spec that we put out back in May. And I anticipate that we'll get bids back on that probably sometime, I'm going to guess late September, if we can get out on the street fast enough, and then we'll see. Of course, that's all got to come back to you for discussion and approval. So if we have something we can do, then we'll just move ahead with that at that time. So I just wanted to keep you and the community updated that we are still working on the building project, and we're since conditions, shall we say, economic conditions have not been conducive here lately. We think, and we believe they will be later on this year, but we think that since there's really no material involved in the project, in this part of the project, because we already own the dirt, all we have to do is move it from where we have it into fill in the hole and tear out the rest of the concrete that's underneath. So that'll be coming up probably at the earliest at the 2nd September meeting. So, and one last thing. Some of you already know that there was a leak in Naco Road coming into Old Bisbee this afternoon. That line has been identified as part of the fire suppression system, so that's our line. At the moment, traffic can pass on the shoulder, so we've made provisions so that traffic can get into Old Bisbee using Naco Road at this point. Tomorrow they're going to be doing some excavating, and you can anticipate that we will probably have to do some very short-term closures of that road, and so we'll work with the police department to get people in somehow during those periods. But I mean, we're not talking about all day, and we're not even talking in the morning. It's likely to occur by noon or after, so people will be able to get in to Old Bisbee all over tomorrow. So just a heads up on that. We'll be putting that on the Facebook page and the website so people are aware. So one of those good old 100-year-old water lines. So this is the time of year for it.
There's no hydrant down there. Why is there a water?
We don't know either.
Anyway, I'll talk to you later. So enter to my driveway, and I'm just going, I don't know how to.
So, Mayor, that's all I have.
All right, at least that's not the water line running under the 60 and 10B.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I would make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
A motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So moved. We are adjourned.